I would be happy to tell you more about this. I'm terrible at making a long story short, so I'll do my best, but bear with me. Also, I do have some of this saved in a highlight on my profile, and you can go look at that. I haven't finished it though. So I would have grown up independent fundamental Baptist. We would have wear dresses, skirt and blouse, King James only. Our time in the Baptist church was a very growing time for me. As a young adult, as a Christian, it was a time in my life that I look back on very, very fondly. We loved it. Our pastor at the time highly encouraged reading your Bible as a family, having family devotions. So we established that in our home and we started reading through the Bible. We started in Genesis and worked our whole way through. But when we got to the passage in 1 Corinthians 11 where it talks about the head covering, I had some questions. So we would have always believed that a woman's hair is her covering, as verse 18 I think would imply. And I have friends who believe both ways, so I'm not here to argue, I'm just sharing my experience. But I had some questions concerning those verses that my parents couldn't answer because here's the thing. If her hair was a covering, as it says in verse 18, what was the need for the verses before that talk about a woman needing to be shorn or shaven if her head wasn't covered? It says, if a woman's head is not covered, let her be shorn or shaven, for it is a shame to her, or something along those lines. So when you read the verses in its entirety, it would suggest that your hair is not your covering, but something on top of your head is also needed. But also in the original text, the word for covering is like an actual physical covering. It's not talking about her hair, it's talking about something on top of her head. So we were all a little bit confused trying to figure these verses out. Felt like maybe covering was something that we should be doing, but didn't know who to ask. We had some friends who were Mennonites. They lived just up the road from us. We asked them if we could come ask them questions, and bless their hearts, they opened their doors to us that very day, and they were busy. And yeah, we started covering that very day. That didn't go over very well in the church that we were attending at the time, and after, you know, months of like back and forth, our church did ask us to either take them off or leave, which we hold no bitterness towards them. It is what it is. The Lord has a plan for everything. We did have some Mennonite friends give us suggestions on some local churches to attend. We visited a couple of them. We found a local Mennonite church that we loved, and the rest is history. It was such a good experience for us that we stayed, and here we are.